You're listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast, coming to you from the Kitchen Studios, located high atop the historic Raleigh building, located in the heart of downtown Raleigh. The NC F&B Podcast takes you behind the scenes of North Carolina's food and beverage industry. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NCFBPod. This episode is sponsored in part by Food Scene. That's foodseen.com. Providing professional photography, social media management, video production, and website design. That's Food Scene. And now, the sommeliers to the stars, the barbacks in your backyard. It is Max and Matt.
Oh, hello again and again and again. It is Thursday. You are listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I am your host today. Matt is on location somewhere. My name is Max Trujillo, and if you've been listening at all to the days that have happened during this week, you'll know now that we are on Thursday of our This Is Not a Happy Hour event for the Kitchen Raleigh. And so with us today, the sun is still shining. The happy hour has not started. It is 3:12 p.m., and in studio we have Joel Schroeter, Kevin Donnelly, and Craig Rudewicz. Now, why the hell would all these three people just be sitting in here right now? Well, Joel and Kevin, along with their business partner, John Anton, are about to open up Old North Meats and Provisions. That is the new jam you guys are about to put together in the Durham Food Hall.
Correct.
So, Kevin, give me a little slice of life. What are we going to come to expect at Old North?
Basically, going to be sourcing from a lot of our local purveyors, farmers, our meats, cheeses, produce, stuff like that. We'll be cooking everything in-house, not buying common deli meats or anything like
now
that.
You get like Tyson's chicken and boar's head?
No.
No?
We're gonna steer clear of that. So our mainstay will be pastrami's and sausages and stuff like that.
Well, you guys were way more generous than I could have expected. I think when you heard that we were doing this whole thing, you're like, how can we be a part of the happy hour? Well, damn, shit, we've got everything filled up. Everybody joined in, and that was amazing. But you're like, we still want to just throw down some food. I'm like, okay, then by all means. So you just totally decked out this place this afternoon. Joel, you worked with Sean over at Mandolin for a time.
Yep.
You've kind of just been lurking in kitchens all around the triangle, right?
Well, mostly at Mandolin, a little bit of some other places back in the day, I guess. After grad school at State, I kind of got back into working in kitchens. I was working at Helio's on Glenwood about, I guess, probably 9 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And then back and forth to a restaurant that I opened in northern Wisconsin, back in my hometown. That was a seasonal restaurant, so I'd go back and forth, be a little bit of a snowbird.
Where it's negative 45 degrees.
Yep, where it's negative 45 degrees right now. Yeah, and everyone died, I think.
That's not nice.
No, I think we're all good. They're used to it. They're used to it.
So,
that's like a brisk winter day for them up there.
But just to give our listeners an example of what you're doing, what did you do for us today?
So I guess what we did today is kind of some examples of kind of what we'll do, at the food hall for events, or kind of, in larger formats as sandwiches. So we're kind of we're like a sandwich stand that has a deli case where we can make all the, the condiments and all the sides and all the salads and all the stuff, all the cool pickled stuff that we've been doing for years working in restaurants around here. And then also have like local cheeses and then our own charcuterie and stuff like that. So today we just did a little olive mortadella with some local pork. We did that on some bolted bread, another favorite of ours. Awesome local stuff. A little herb salad, some pickled mushrooms.
What about those the marmalades you were doing? You had this Campari marmalade.
Oh yeah, so we just had some stuff that some condiments we've been using on cheese plates and stuff like that we just really like. So we had some burnt citrus honey that we had been making, and then also we made like a Campari marmalade, so kind of all the Negroni flavors in a jam format, so you can have a Negroni for breakfast.
Craig, we might
not
have
feel bad about it.
Riff on that later on tonight.
Yes, that sounds awesome.
I can leave that stuff with you guys too if you want to whip that into a cocktail or something.
Just eat it. Yeah.
So I did mention earlier that Craig's here. Craig of Crude Bitters. Craig is doing a DIY bar tonight. Do it yourself, goddammit.
I don't want to work.
Yeah. You're smart.
So we, whenever we set these up, we give people the kind of the choose your own adventure route. We'll have a bunch of our different bitters. We'll have a choice of 3 cocktails, and then they get to choose between 2 bitters for each cocktail to see what they'd like to go with. But each flavor will kind of steer you in a different direction.
Yeah, you're doing a gin and honey old-fashioned, but then, of course, everyone's kind of up to do whatever. We're using Sutler's Gin tonight. You have a drink called the Reminiscent. That's going to feature some Topo Carolina whiskey, and then an apple rum sour with our buddies over there at Kill Devil Rum in the Outer Banks. And then with all that, you've got so many different flavors to choose from. You have your bitters, of course, so everyone can kind of learn how to do it themselves. Make sure my wife's paying attention when this is happening, because so many times I'm home and she'll, from the couch, go, "Honey, will you make me a cocktail?" I'm like, how hard is it?
Well, any cocktail that's made for you will taste 1,000,000 times better than one you make yourself. It's like
I
a
would
sandwich.
not know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what that's like. No, but that's exciting. So, as far as Old North at the Durham Food Hall, I know there isn't a real date to slate, but what's your fingers crossed hope date right now?
We're looking at spring 2019. It's
this year. That's a good thing.
Oh, it's this year. It better be. Feel like we've been in a holding pattern for a while. But yeah, we're looking. I don't even want to throw a month out there. I wish I could. We're hoping to find sooner.
A couple months, let's say.
Yeah,
in a couple months.
Realistically, a couple months.
Yeah, but that's not so bad. And so inside the Durham Food Hall, what are some of the other? Who will be some of your partners that are inside with you?
The main bar will be Adair's, the owner of the food hall, and a couple other people that you guys would know. The dudes from Locals are doing an oyster bar in there as well. They have the one in the transfer company, but they're also going to be in there.
I didn't know they were going to do one out there. These guys were just on 2 nights ago. They didn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, and there's been a few since we've committed to it. There's been a few that have come on that have dropped off. So I mean,
what's the X-Moto? Is that what?
X-Moto, yeah, and they're the folks from Centro and Galapalone, and I am super excited about that because they're nixtamalizing their own corn, making their own tortillas from scratch, and I want to see that process and as I'm super interested in it, and it's super impressive.
I've seen it looks amazing.
It looks awesome.
Everything they're doing about it looks.
I'm probably more psyched about that than I am about anybody else. Like maybe even ourselves. Maybe even our own. Going to the food hall. Yeah, I just love to see people doing stuff that's super hard that no one else is doing.
So this is awesome. On Foster Street, right?
Yeah.
And basically a block down from where Piedmont is.
Like where the Durham Farmers Market is, literally across the street. They're right there.
So cool. Yeah. So a stone's throw from the center of downtown, but an easy way to walk over. I guess this is like the new future, right? Everything. I mean, Craig at Crude, you were literally staring at TransferCo, and when they're ultimately all bells are going, that's going to be great for everybody. But that's the future of business now? We're all just going to be in big, huge malls?
You get a bunch of people to go in the same building and do different things. We've been watching. We're in the little pink building across the street from TransferCo. And so Burial Beer from Asheville's opened up, and they've had lines around the block since they opened their doors. So we try to poach that foot traffic. And then, Locals again. We've had Che Empanadas have been killing it for it's been probably 2 months now that a couple of the places have been open, but it's unique. You get everything kind of all in one building, and then you hop across the street, and we'll serve you bitters and teach you all about cocktails.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a self-serving way, it's not too different than what we're doing here at the kitchen in Raleigh, because we're 4 different businesses that probably couldn't have done it all by ourselves and paid some huge rent and all, and then also it's not even the fact of sharing money, though that's a good thing. It's also the fact that you're in a collective with a group of other people in a similar path, and it's just a lot of creative minds, creative juices flowing in the room, and it just leads to the next thing, I think. And that's what we're noticing here at the kitchen, and I think that's what you're starting to see out in these communities. So we're looking forward to Durham Food Hall opening, and especially Old North Meats and Provisions. We'll get John over here too, John Anton, so all 3 of you guys can give it a proper kickoff when we finally see the open date. Thank you. We'll be touching back in as the rest of this night goes on. It's going to be a wild one, folks. We'll pause for a moment to talk to our restaurant people. That's right. Managers, servers, bartenders, barbacks, line cooks, chefs, anyone that's touching the POS system. I gotta ask you, do you like this system your restaurant is using right now? Is it efficient? Is it easy to use? Is it intuitive? Well, I have a system that is really cool. It's called Cake by Cisco. Cake by Cisco is a point-of-sale system that integrates guest manager systems, online ordering, and of course, the point-of-sale terminal. With affordable hardware, 24/7 customer support, and transparent pricing, it's really a simple and smart way to go. Fun fact, did you know that integrating Cake's POS and guest manager products have proven to increase table turns by 6%? That's a projected revenue by up to $14,000 in a single year. Look at all these stats that I have. I know things. Well, give them a call. They'll tell you things as well, and you will be satisfied. Their number is 855-696-CAKE. Or head over to trycake.com. Or click the link in our show notes. And don't forget to let them know that the gents from the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast referred you. Cake by Cisco.
This segment is brought to you by the Triangle Wine Company. Visit Triangle Wine Company stores in Morrisville, Cary, and Southern Pines, North Carolina. Or order your wine and beer online at trianglewineco.com. And be sure to use our promo code NCFB to receive 10% off your purchases. Triangle Wine Company.
Hello, and thank you for listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I am your co-host, Max Trujillo. So you say your line, bro.
Do I? I'm the fill-in co-host?
And you're the co-host.
Steve Mangano of Curate.
It's about 5:30 on Thursday, the fourth night of our This Is Not a Happy Hour event, which just basically lets people eat and drink for not much money, and in this case, no money. Because everyone came together for free to show how awesome and cool a happy hour could be if the state figured out maybe we could be able to do this. All that said, we have a great room of people in. Of course, the aforementioned Steve Mangano, who runs the Curate app, a real cool way of finding food from your friends in the food business. But coming out here, we have Chef Todd Woods. Todd Woods. Do you know who Todd Woods is? Guess what?
Oh, thank you.
He's new in town. Todd Woods is opening Oak Steakhouse right down the street from the Kitchen Studios on Hargett in the Dillon.
Yes.
That's right. He's coming from the Indigo Road restaurant group, but there is Indaco in Charleston.
That is correct.
Which is one of your
Just you.
restaurants. Welcome to the neighborhood. The sultry sounds that are coming off the microphone as well is Miss Kim Hammer, maybe one of the most frequented guests on the NCF&B.
Stop,
I've
only been on once.
No, you've been on twice because you did my open panel at the NCRLA.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You're
Kim
going to have to
Hammer,
kick me
of
off
course.
forever for
Yeah.
a while.
Oh, people did not like you after that. I'm just kidding. They're great. But, of course, there's Bittersweet. There's Bittersweet in the center of Raleigh. But then you also have Raleigh Provisions.
Truth.
Very excited to have you here.
No, I'm excited because I just now realized who he was and what he's opening. And I'm so excited because I've been seeing the signs. And I was like, hell's yes, steakhouse that I can walk to after work.
Yes.
So, I just get excited all over again. Yes, I'm
That's awesome.
I want nothing more
They're
than steak
high-fiving.
and dirty martinis.
Oh, that sounds perfect. And then just straight across from me, we have Jen, Peeler, Truman,
That's me.
Konar. I don't know, I'm just kidding.
No.
Throwing names, but she works with Matthew Konar Architect, and is basically locking down the Raleigh office for Konar Architect. So, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, Kim, since you were so animated about it, why don't you start off by telling everybody what Chef Todd provided for us for tonight's dining experience?
Some very delicious deviled eggs, which I will always eat several deviled eggs. But those were beef Wellington rolls, I believe.
Yes.
Can I call them that?
Sure.
So we had wonderful steak with mushrooms wrapped in puff pastry, and my daughter is 11 and is a huge food person like myself, and just found out that beef Wellington was something that existed about 6 months ago, and she literally looked at me and was like, how have you never told me this before? That there was steak wrapped in puff pastry.
Yeah, Chef, explain what a beef Wellington is.
Can we add mac and cheese to it? And it's golden.
We do have all of those.
Yes, right.
Could you, just tell what's a basic beef Wellington? What is
So a basic beef Wellington will usually have 3 or 4 ingredients. Beef, usually filet mignon, mushroom duxelle, which is usually chopped up mushrooms cooked down with red wine and herbs and shallots and garlic. It's usually got some form of prosciutto and then puff pastry wrapped around the outside.
So decadent, so amazing.
That's the good place food.
Yeah.
We're putting a slice of foie gras on ours.
Shut the front door.
Taking an extra little step.
That's next level.
Right.
It's crazy good. And now you know where you
So
can bring your
there's
daughter.
still
to visit.
reservation spots left, right?
Oh my god.
What's that?
There's still reservation spots for next
Absolutely.
week, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so like most of the participants that have been helping out with This Is Not a Happy Hour with the kitchen are open and they're out there and they're doing things, but you guys, the doors aren't even open yet. You're about to open like tomorrow?
Next Friday.
Well,
The 8th.
It's tomorrow because I'm releasing this a week later. So you're opening tomorrow.
We're talking
We
in
get
the
like a
future.
super
The
private
magic of
preview.
radio.
Yeah, we already know
right.
that the New England Patriots lost by a shutout.
Beat
Tom
by the
Brady
Saints.
threw 4 interceptions
to
and
the
then
Saints.
retired at halftime.
Right.
Which was awesome.
And took a knee.
But just so everyone knows, just the Oak Steakhouse, this is not the first one, this is not the second one, but you guys are opening up great restaurants all over. Now, I think you're in Charleston,
Yes.
you're in Atlanta,
Yes.
you're in Charlotte,
Yes.
you're in Greenville, South Carolina,
No.
you're in
Nashville.
Columbia, though.
No.
Nashville.
Keep going.
Nashville.
Nashville.
Nashville, thank you, Jen.
Yep.
That's why you're here. Don't speak anymore, though, at this point.
Soon to be Raleigh.
In front of
And
me.
scene.
Yes. I do have all the facts right in front of me, but I chose not to read them.
No, why do that? That's boring
Yeah.
radio.
Steve Mangano, what do you order when you go to a steakhouse? What's your jam?
Oh, well, I had to get a bone-in ribeye. That's pretty much it. I mean,
Yep.
that, cream spinach, some type of potato,
Yep.
some type of asparagus with preferably a hollandaise on top. And, so my favorite dessert at a steakhouse was at Peter Luger's when they used to have fresh strawberries and schlag, which is basically whipped cream. So that's it. That's my steakhouse order.
This is why I asked that question, because Steve's, all of his memories are food memories. Mm-hmm. And he always can tie pretty much anything he's done in his life to where he ate it and like what happened before.
100%.
Yeah. That's why you should like be all about the curate app, because like literally that's what the guy does for a living is
I
eat
actually
and
got-
memorize what he just ate.
I got engaged in a steakhouse.
Nice.
That is
Oh,
the
really?
truth. Yes.
That's pretty good.
Lewis proposed.
Did he put it in a beef Wellington
no,
or something like that?
I have to tell you, I don't think he knew he was going to propose 30 seconds before it happened. And it just was
Can
like.
we get into that for a second? Because when you were on the podcast first time,
I was
he
not engaged.
Your partner.
Yes.
And it was like, that's, very politically correct
Yes.
thing to talk about. But we're
Yes.
also talking business, so I'm like, business partner or a
Yeah.
partner? We didn't really know what that meant. And then
all of the things.
And
all
it's
of the
like, at
things.
that time in your life, we're like, so you're going to get married? You're like, we don't believe in the
I was just like, it's not, I don't care.
patriarchal
I just
society of
don't-
marriage.
I've done it. I don't need it. I just like.
And then
so-
3 months later, I see an Instagram. And
Yeah,
it's a picture
at a
of her.
steakhouse. Yeah, it's true. No, so when I have had a hard day and I don't want to deal with anything, what I need in that moment is a bone-in ribeye and a dirty martini. And that's what I need for me to be tucked in well at night. And so one night
So
we...
you're going to be at the Oak all the time now.
Yeah, no, 100%, because I can walk there, and I've sampled the goods, so I'm like very excited. Yeah, so we'll do like an anniversary or something there.
So, Kim, do we have a date?
Oh God, no! I mean, this is the funny thing. It's like that joke that like we throw so many parties and we do so much hospitality. It seems like impossible to try to plan.
Here comes Lewis now. Hold on. He's got to say hello. Just say hello on the microphone, just so we know that she's not faking it. She really does.
Say
have a
hello.
partner.
What? Hello.
Did you, in
Hello.
fact, propose at a steakhouse?
I did, in fact, propose at a steakhouse, yes. And I was immediately questioned as to how many martinis I had had.
It's true. That's true. It's true.
Yeah, I want to know, what was the duration of time from the "will you marry me" to the yes phrase uttered? How much time went on?
How many martinis?
Was it an immediate yes, or was it a oh shit? I gotta think about this. Yes.
No, it was a questioning glance followed up by a I think he's serious. Yes.
I actually think I asked if you were serious.
Yeah, and then once I reiterated that yes, I was serious, then she took it serious and then was like, yes, absolutely. So it was like
can we play out this scenario if you actually were practically joking her? What an asshole you would be.
In the middle of the dining room in the steakhouse.
Would you marry me? Yes. Psych. It was just a joke. It was a ruse. Just look at right now.
You forget that I'm his boss. Yeah. And I could have been like, you're fired.
That's actually sexual harassment, and you will be hearing from our lawyers.
It would be rightly so.
Let's get back into it. Does anyone have anything fun or new or anything you want to talk about? I just didn't want to shut this off before they happen.
Shut it off. We got so much more to go, I think.
It's segments. We'll come back. We're going to come back. I genuinely do not know anything.
You genuinely do not know.
I genuinely do not know what I want to know, but I've been not told by anyone because they look at me like you are the biggest mouth in the South. I'm not telling you a goddamn thing.
We are genuinely working on something really fun that I think people will be excited about come this summer. I think
water slides.
There may be a slide element, and
really,
yeah. I would say people know me as a rather salty woman that likes to drink hard, and I would say that they could look forward to a place where a lot of other salty women who like to drink hard can gather. So.
It's the new Women's Club of Raleigh.
No. I feel like, we're working on something and we're excited about it. And,
we will hear about it very soon.
Yes, you will. I promise. I promise when we're ready to talk in detail about it, you will.
Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned. But, all right, we're going to take a break and hopefully we'll come back in a little bit. See y'all.
Thanks for listening to the NC F&B podcast. And if you've stuck with us this long, review us on iTunes and remember, 5 stars are encouraged.